Tokenization is more than just a digital representation of money and assets. It involves digital representation on a programmable platform, which means that tokens can incorporate the rules and logic governing transfers, as well as the information about the asset itself. Now, currently, money and other claims reside in separate databases that are connected through third-party messaging systems, meaning that transactions need to be reconciled separately before being settled with finality. Tokenization makes all this one seamless operation. Tokenization is well suited to resolve incentive and information problems. Think of an example where a buyer would like to pay when the goods are delivered, while the seller would like to deliver the goods when the buyer pays. Tokenization can solve this problem by executing both transactions at the same time. Two real-world applications discussed in the chapter are resolving foreign exchange settlement risk and unlocking supply chain finance. A unified ledger with CBDCs can make full use of the ability of central bank money to knit together diverse elements of the financial system. In this sense, the full potential of tokenization can be harnessed by having central bank money reside on the same venue as other tokenized claims.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and the clip that you just saw was of an economic advisor and the head of research for the Bank of International Settlements who was discussing the tokenization of money and other assets that are eventually, as he says, going to have to come onto a unified global ledger, essentially outlining what an eventual cashless society will look like with global central bank digital currencies. And in fact, they outlined how this will look in a detailed report that you can see here titled Blueprint for the Future Monetary System, Improving the Old, Enabling the New, where they say a new type of financial market infrastructure, a unified ledger, could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining central bank money, tokenized deposits, and tokenized assets on a programmable platform. This is essentially what the World Economic Forum also dreams of when they discuss central bank digital currencies, and they just piggybacked off of this report with their own annual report that was just released in April of 2024 titled Modernizing Financial Markets with Wholesale Central Bank Digital Currency. So what we're talking about here, guys, is essentially a cashless society because the WEF is boasting here that 98% of central banks are adopting CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. I mean, if you look at SWIFT right now, the global banking transaction system that is widely used, they are planning to launch a new central bank digital currency platform in the next 12 to 24 months. So things are accelerating incredibly fast right now, guys. In fact, if you look at CoinMarketCap, you'll see the global cryptocurrency market cap right now is $2.38 trillion. That's trillion with a T. The kingpin Bitcoin itself has $1.2 trillion market cap right now, and Ethereum, the number 2 cryptocurrency digital asset right now, coming in at second place, has $385 billion invested into it. Now, in case you guys didn't know, almost 10 years ago, the Peter Thiel Fellowship awarded Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin with $100,000, and they encouraged him to use this money to advance Ethereum. And that ended up going on to become the number 2 cryptocurrency in the entire world. I put out a video about this, breaking this one down way back in June of 2016, titled Ethereum Linked to Bilderberg Gets Putin Endorsement, What You Need to Know. Now, if you're wondering what's this link to the Bilderberg Group, well, Peter Thiel just so happens to be a member of the Bilderberg Group. He has been on the steering committee. He has attended a number of these meetings. And in fact, he was in Lisbon, Portugal at the Bilderberg meeting just last year, as I was, to document everything that was going on there, where they were discussing things like this: AI and the banking system. And guess who just happens to also be on the participants list? You have Sam Altman of OpenAI and, of course, Peter Thiel. Now, I have discovered a new cryptocurrency that I think Peter Thiel may be looking at here as what may be able to facilitate the Bank of International Settlements and the WEF's dream of a future global digitized, tokenized global reserve currency. And it may be this one, folks. Reserve, a stable currency, a human right. And the reason why I think this is because I discovered that some of the initial investors in Reserve Protocol, the Reserve Project, has received significant support from prominent investors, including Peter Thiel and Sam Altman. The very same guys who just met last year in Lisbon, Portugal, to discuss AI and the banking system are some of the two main funders of this Reserve Protocol, which leads me to believe this may be the vehicle that will be used to facilitate the BIS and the WEF's dream of their future monetary system involving central bank digital currencies on a unified ledger. Guys, we're going to be talking about all of this and much, much more in this video. But really quickly, just before we do, guys, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this info. Here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can do Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies as well. You can sign up for a monthly recurring contribution by clicking there. You can also do so by joining me here on Subscribestar. You can also send an e-transfer to Dan at pressfortruth.ca. Thank you so much to everybody who contributes in that way. And you can also send stuff to my P.O. Box, guys. Links for all of this are located in the description below. Thank you so much to everybody who takes just 1 minute today to contribute to my efforts here at Press for Truth. All right, let's start with this report, the Blueprint for the Future Monetary System from the Bank of International Settlements, where their key takeaways here are that the tokenization of money and assets has great potential, they say, but initiatives to date have taken place in silos without access to central bank money and the foundation of trust that it provides. Yeah, we all know how much the world is currently trusting of the big banks, right? It's just insane. So as we showed you, a new type of financial market infrastructure, or what they say, a unified ledger, is what they need. This could capture the full benefits of tokenization by combining the central bank money, the tokenized deposits, and the tokenized assets on a programmable platform, as well as improving existing processes through the seamless integration of transactions. A unified ledger could harness programmability to enable arrangements that are currently not practicable, thereby expanding the universe of possible economic outcomes. Multiple ledgers, each with a specific use case, might coexist, interlinked by application programming interfaces to ensure interoperability and as well to promote financial inclusion and a level playing field. So obviously what we're talking about here is an eventual global digital infrastructure on a unified ledger. And as I said, what is going to be the vehicle to facilitate such a thing? Well, let's take a quick look at this Reserve Protocol. As we saw that the initial founders and investors are sorry, not founders, but the investors are Peter Thiel and Sam Altman. And what this wants to bring to the table is this. By the way, notice the symbolism in their banner here. In the triangle, if you look closely, there is a very stylized and hidden Eye of Horus right there in the center of the triangle. So you've got an Eye of Horus in the triangle. You know, essentially Illuminati symbolism all over this thing, coming from, you know, the guys who invested in this being, you know, Bilderberg members. Just wanted to throw that out there. But let's take a look at what they're offering. Reserve is a cryptocurrency project. We want money that doesn't inflate like USD, but isn't volatile like Bitcoin. Our approach is to bundle stocks, bonds, gold, real estate, and more into an index and use that as money. Imagine buying a bag of groceries and paying with a tiny slice of all of the world's assets. This sure does sound a lot to me like a unified ledger with all these tokenizations, tokenized monies and assets coming together into the same place, doesn't it, guys? Until all the world assets until all real world assets, RWAs, are tokenized, which we hope will happen, but as many regulatory hurdles standing in the way, the protocol is best used for rolling DeFi assets together to create yield-bearing USD stablecoins and other composite assets. As more assets are tokenized, we envision many competing asset-backed currencies, with some actually being used as money. If the world really likes asset-backed currency, perhaps it could replace the fiat standard. Now here's the crazy part in all of this. Replacing the fiat standard, I believe, is the endgame agenda of the powers that ought not be, the likes of the Bilderberg Group. They need to further erode trust in the financial system and the banking system to transition people into the world of digitized assets, globalized cryptocurrencies for the purposes of control. Because we're not talking about a decentralized cryptocurrency, we're talking about a heavily centralized one, a cashless society, as this Zero Hedge article outlined. So I want to point out to you what they noticed here, where the BIS and the WEF let the cat out of the bag, as they say. The BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, proposed two models for bringing tokenization into the monetary system. One, bring CBDCs, TDs, and tokenized assets onto a common unified ledger. Or two, pursue incremental progresses by creating interlinking systems. So they determined that the latter option was more feasible, given that the former requires a reimagination of financial systems. Experimentation with the unified ledger concept is ongoing. So to interpret this into decoded language, the unified ledger is essentially another term for a one-world digital currency system, completely centralized and under the control of global banks like the BIS and the IMF. The WEF and the BIS are acknowledging the difficulty of introducing such a system without any opposition, so they're recommending incremental introduction using interlinking systems, attaching CBDCs to paper currencies and physical contracts, and then slowly but surely dematerializing those assets and making digital the new form. It's essentially a totalitarian tiptoe towards this eventual cashless, tokenized, digitized society. The BIS predicts that there will be at least 9 major CBDCs in circulation by the end of the year 2030. This is likely an understatement of the intended plan. Globalists have hinted in the past that they prefer total digitization by the year 2030. A cashless society would be the end game for economic anonymity and freedom in trade. Unless alternative physical currencies are widely adopted in protest, CBDCs would make all transactions traceable and easily interrupted by governments and banks. So imagine in a world in which all trade is monitored, all revenues are monitored, and all transactions can be blocked if they're found to offend the mandates of the system. Yes, obviously, we've already seen that happening with, like what happened with the trucker convoy, where bank accounts were shut down because the government disagreed with some of the opinions of their citizens, so they shut down their bank accounts. These types of things are already going on right now these days. But at least today, you still have the option of reaching into your pocket and using cash anonymously. So they want to get rid of the ability to be able to do that for the purposes of 100% total control. So imagine a world where your ability to spend money can be limited to certain retailers, certain services, certain products, and chosen regions based on your politics, your social credit scores, and your background. The control that comes with CBDCs is immense and allows for complete micromanagement of the population. The fact that 98% of central banks are already adopting this technology should be one of the biggest news stories of the decade, yet it goes almost completely ignored. Well, not by me, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I wanted to bring this information to your attention. The Bank of International Settlements is working on this. They're putting out their annual reports. The World Economic Forum is working on this. They have their annual reports. And the likes of the Bilderberg Group are discussing this as well. And you've got, some of their steering head committee members and regular attendees investing in a reserve protocol, a project called Reserve, which wants to bring about the eventual, digital tokenization of all assets onto an eventual unified ledger. So I hope you can see where this is all going, guys. A one world digital currency is coming. A cashless society is coming. And this is why, it's so important to expose these things for what they are and to get your money out of the banks and into tangible assets like gold and silver. This is why I've been such a big advocate of the precious metal space for so many years. I've seen what's coming. I know the cashless society is coming, and they're trying to tokenize not only digital assets like money, but literally everything. Real estate, physical assets, even eventually gold and silver, they want to digitize and tokenize as well. But if you hold those tangible assets, you're going to fare far better than the rest, as the powers that ought not be are potentially going to, lead towards a giant rug pull here in the cryptocurrency space, leaving, everybody completely broke, making the stock market crash of 1929 look like a walk in the park. So this is what they're planning. This is what they're working on. Global CBDCs are in the works. But again, if you take all the right steps today to hedge yourself against this, you're going to fare far better than the rest. But just wanted to bring all of that to your attention, guys. Keep an eye out on this one. Reserve Protocol. This may be the vehicle that's going to facilitate the dreams of the International Bank of International Settlements and the World Economic Forum, who want to push this all-out cashless society on everybody, that, as we're obviously are already in the beginning phases of it being implemented. So just wanted to bring all of this to your attention, guys. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to do so, don't forget to check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate. Once again, I can't do this work without the support of you, the viewers. The people who click on that link and support me financially at pressfortruth.ca. Once again, thank you so much to everybody who does do that. I can't continue to do this work without you. And that's all for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please click that thumbs up button. Share this video with your friends and family who you think need to see it the most. And stay tuned, guys. We're going to have more video reports coming very soon, God willing. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.